Hello, everybody. Happy Halloween. Thank you for tuning in today. I am Andrea Bacon, and today's topics is going to be spirits beyond the veil. What are some ways that spirit can manipulate energy during a visitation? Now, first, I just want to let you know a few offerings that I have in my shop real quick. I just want to mention I'm doing a reading that is for Halloween. It's a Samhain reading. So it talks about embracing your shadow, messages from the ancestors, what you need to release. So that is available. And then I just wanted to show you a couple of my perfume mists that I make. They're available too. So if you can see it, if not, that's okay. But this is my mist perfume called Aphrodite. It is made with pure essential oils and it smells amazing. It's got like pink lotus, amber, rose maroc, and it is in an organic rose water. And then I have another lovely one, Fairy Godmother, and it is in vanilla. It's got vanilla, rose otto, amber, and it also has the organic rose water in it. So there's several in there in my shop, and you can go ahead and check it out if you want. It's in stan.store/medium Andrea. Okay. And they're in those cobalt blue 4-ounce glass jars. So now let's talk about Samhain, or it is the Celtic New Year. So it's an Irish word for summer's end. And they say that the veil is thinner now at Halloween and All Saints Day, All Souls Day. And the spirit world have many ways of letting us know that they're around. They may bring a scent around you that reminds you of them. It could be anything from a food or a drink that they liked. They could be perfume cologne that they liked or wore that you could just smell out of nowhere. Certain flowers like a rose or a lily or something, of that nature that they would grow in their garden or like to have fresh in their house. And even sometimes cigarettes and alcohol. In fact, they will, if you associate that with them, but sometimes they would put, those tastes of different foods or different drinks in my mouth, during readings, or just it can happen out of the blue when you're going through your normal daily routine as well. Just that's how they are letting you know they're around. Now, they can also manipulate objects. So I'm sure some of you have had where you were looking for an item that you've misplaced and you looked everywhere and you go back and your item's there where you looked. So that's kind of a common thing that they'll do, or they'll slightly maneuver an item where you left it and just so it's turned a little bit. And then maybe, there's a chair that looks like it's slightly moving, but there's nobody there. That can be spirits and your loved ones. They can manipulate electronics, like they'll change the TV channel, or certain devices can go off and on or make a noise or some type of beeping, and spirits will do that to let you know that they're around. And some people will be like, well, why are my loved ones around me? What are they trying to tell me? As if they're worried that there's some kind of cryptic message there. But it's not like that. It's just that they are letting you know that they are around, and that they're there and that they can do these things from the other side. But then there's also, separate from our loved ones, there's also earthbound spirits. That they don't always know that they're not alive anymore. Normally they're just like at a haunted location usually. Not always, sometimes they're at places like the store, but for the most part, they're in, haunted houses, haunted locations. For some reason, they chose not to go into the tunnel of light when they passed on. So they have not crossed over yet. So you may have seen like depictions of like ghosts, on television or whatnot, where they have scars on their face or they're like limping or walking with an injury or something like that. And that's kind of to acknowledge that they haven't crossed over because they have not received the healing from the other side that we all do when we enter the healing presence from the light and the other side. And so that's why, sometimes they're depicted like that. And they can stay in a location that they're emotionally attached to when they were alive or something that they felt a strong responsibility for. They can stay attached to objects that, feel very possessive over or just certain locations in general. But some of them stay behind out of fear that what they did, is not forgivable. And so they think that they'll be punished, that what they did when they were alive was like too horrible. So, but each soul will receive love and healing when they pass. So that's not really true, but that is basically the reason why they choose not to do so. While there are plenty of haunted places in the world, there absolutely are. I really want to say that not to worry when it comes to this happening to someone that you know, because like out of all the readings that I've done to connect with people and their loved ones, nobody was earthbound. And it's not a common occurrence. So your loved ones have crossed over. They're at peace in the light. Their soul is expanding. They're evolving into the higher realms. And, people always ask, what is the message? And like I was saying, it's always just that they want to connect with you and that they love you. So, if you have ever been to like these haunted places, I know I have, you may have experienced or heard of a poltergeist. Now, poltergeist is a German word that means noisy spirit. I have experienced this a few times where they will create a lot of chaos to drive people away who are in their space. Some theories about poltergeists state that they are created by a lot of like negative energy or just charged energy by people who are alive. And they have a lot of chaotic emotions. They also have spiritual abilities. They may not be aware that they have them, but they're affected by or sensitive to energy. They may have some lower vibrational energies around them, and it's just kind of all this one big old soup in creating this frenetic energy. So they don't know how to control it. It's chaotic. Usually it kind of happens and manifests in their living space. So this, it can happen. It doesn't mean that will happen if you have abilities and, you have a lot of emotions. It's just something that can happen. And that's usually how a poltergeist is formed, from what a lot of mediums have said. And I kind of feel that way too. But they take on a life, that energy takes on a life of its own and becomes that poltergeist type of thing. It can also be affected by other other lower vibrational trickster spirits that can affect that energy and make it do things. If you've ever seen that movie Poltergeist, where the television is snowy and fuzzy looking, that's kind of the feeling, the energy. It's that frenetic, fuzzy, chaotic energy. If you are in a haunted place that has, a poltergeist. So I went to the Whaley House in Old Town San Diego, and I experienced that there. It can make you feel nauseous. It can, make you feel fearful or sad, or it's like you kind of feel overcome a little bit, and it can make you feel drained. And it's like a dense heavy pressure. Now, I do like to go to some of the haunted tours. I know a lot of people do. Some people stay really away from that, but you got to definitely protect yourself before you go into those things. But I even was had an experience with a poltergeist actually in while I was antiquing in Vermont. It was in an antique store, and I think it was probably either an object that was in there that kind of drew it in there, coupled with the building being really old. And they want to run you out of their space. They are aggressive. And, I haven't heard of anybody actually being physically harmed, but I know they say that can happen. But yeah, I got out of there, and it's definitely something that is a phenomenon that has occurred that many people have experienced. So, but aside from all that, our loved ones are in a beautiful place, and they always have messages for us. And some of the main messages that I have gotten from them doing readings and whatnot are that, like, if you couldn't be with them when they passed, then you really weren't meant to. And so I know a lot of people can be really sad and, make things even harder for them when they're grieving. But a lot of people, when they're passing, wait till other people, everybody has kind of gone out of the room anyway. So don't carry that around with you if you're in that situation. And they watch over you, and they're inspired by you, and they love you very much. They see the ripple effect that you put out into the world, and all the things that you do and have to go through, and how you bring it all back to the energy of love, and it really lights up the planet. And they're seeing this from a higher perspective. So that is my show. That's what I have for you today. Have a wonderful and safe Halloween if you celebrate. And you can check out my store, and you can email me if you have any questions about any of the readings.